My name's Declan McGlynn from Point Blank Music School, which is a music production and DJing school based in London, LA, and online. Today we are joined by a music legend and a technological innovator. We're going to discuss a little bit about his new mixer, Model 1, his Play Differently movement, and get a bit of an insight into how he approaches DJing. And we'll give you guys a chance to ask some questions too towards the end. So please give it up for Richie Hawtin. Yes. So let's just go straight in. Do you want to maybe introduce the Model 1, the concept behind it, and then we'll have a bit of a demo?
As many of you know, I was working as a DJ with the Allen and Heath 62 and 92 for the last 15 or 16 years, and became, over that time, very close to the designer of the 62 and 92, Andy Rigby Jones. And over those years, there was moments where the original versions of those mixers didn't have all the capabilities that I wanted. And so I was really lucky to be friends with Andy and also have my dad, who was really into taking things apart and rebuilding them. And between us three, we were able to take first the Zone 62 and add MIDI capabilities to allow me to envision the first Dex Effects 909 shows in the late 90s. And then further work with the 92 when that came out and add other capabilities onto it, which allowed me to control Ableton and my computers. Because what you have to remember over the last, as computers came into the DJ booth, there wasn't all these ways to control them that there is now with controllers and knobs and faders. So 15, 20 years ago, we actually had to build special instruments to be able to play in the way that I was imagining. Luckily now, we don't have to do that as much because there's so many pieces of technology that are out there. But working over those years on customizing mixers, it was always a dream of mine to work with Andy and create our own mixer from the ground up. And honestly, it was a dream for 8 or 10 years. It took a lot longer to actually come into reality. But I think now is a really important moment to introduce something like this. And the founding, or the grounding foundation of this mixer, first of all, was to create something that sounded absolutely incredible. The kind of sounds, well, shouldn't all mixers sound incredible? But what's happened over the last couple of years as this scene of electronic music has become incredibly large, a lot of the devices that have been created for the DJs have actually, in my opinion, been created more for quantity over quality. And I thought that was a bit of the wrong way to go. So we wanted to go back to the drawing board and envision a mixer with uncompromising quality to bring the best sounding device into the DJ booth. Everyone has a different way of DJing. You've got turntables, you've got computers, you've got CDJs, you've got synthesizers. They're all good. You should play exactly how you want. But all those things always come through the mixer. It's the last device before it gets to the dance floor, to where we all want to hear and experience an incredible sonic quality. And so, in my mind, because it's that thing that everybody uses, it really needed an update of quality and attention and rethinking what a mixer could be in 2016. Back to that starting point of quality. Where do you go from there? Of course, this mixer comes from the heritage of the 92 and the 62 mixers, which had 4 or 6 channels, so we wanted to add more channels. We wanted to create a mixer that wasn't just a better sounding mixer, but actually added new capabilities, new functionality, so that people could hopefully use it to play differently. And that's, again, the ethos of the brand. So we made quite some radical design decisions to give new capabilities to the DJ and the performer. The mixer is comprised of 8 channels. So that means I can mix together 8 different sources, 8 records or effects or whatever I choose to. And in this size of mixer, that is much more than most mixers that are on the market. Normally you have 4 channels or you have 6 channels. This has 8 channels. And on every mixer, each channel has a number of capabilities. Usually you will find a normal EQ setup, 4-band EQ, which allows you to add or boost certain frequencies. So a very big departure for this mixer is that instead of having 4 fixed frequencies, we have 1 frequency, but we are able to change that frequency. So if I'm playing a record with a hi-hat right around here in the frequency range, if I had a fixed frequency, and that frequency just happened to be a little bit above where that hi-hat was, I can't get at it. It's just out of my reach. But with Model 1, what we can do is move the frequency down exactly to the frequency of that sound, of that hi-hat, of that vocal that we want to manipulate, and then bring that up or bring that down. It's a very subtle change, but subtleties are sometimes where the magic is. The way we've set up this mixer with this special flexible frequency EQ and with filters gives another new dimension to playing and performing. So it brings more variation, hopefully more originality to the performance and to the experience of the night, which I think is incredibly important for this side of the turntables or decks or computers, but also is important for the dance floor too.
So with the Model 1, I mean, what's interesting is even though it's completely analog, you're still running Traktor as your main source of music. And why did you decide not to make any digital connectivity on the Model 1?
I think there's a tendency right now that there's feature overload on a lot of the devices that are out there. Let's put as much bells and whistles into the mixer as possible. Let's make this button and knob do 3 or 4 different things. And on one level, that's great. There's a lot of flexibility, but we felt that we wanted to get back down to basics and create a device that did one function or a series of functions in the best possible way. And so that started to lead us away from digital, which gives you a lot of options and possibilities, and back to this device being the center point of the DJ booth. This device being directly connected to incredible sound systems around the world. Sound systems that clubs spend $250,000, $500,000 on. Don't you want, as a clubber and a club owner, to make sure that sound system sounds absolutely incredible? Like I played we did a pop-up event 2 days ago just outside the city. And it was an incredible event, and it was a fun party. I got to play some great tracks, and it was more about that fun atmosphere between me and the crowd. And I love that, and I need that. That's the original reason I got into DJing. But I also want to feel that I can push forward and really find my own unique way of playing. And so over time, going through different pieces of equipment, finding faders that felt right for me, took me down a path that allowed me to open up the things that were in my head, to become maybe not more creative, but to open up creativity that was already there. Yeah. I want to see the DJ community strive for more. One of the words that I always come back to when, with the design of Model 1 and the feeling is smooth. The filters, the EQ, the warmth, the overall sound is something smooth. So that smoothness of manipulation and mixing is very much at the heart of Model 1. I'm just going to show a couple of things here. So bringing, for the high-pass filters, bringing in bass. You can See how it creeps up. And same with the high end. You can take that away, bring it in. And this is another very important feature. Why, again, play differently. It should be playable. That's where we didn't want to have menus and, oh my God, if I touch this, is it a filter now, or is it an EQ now, or is it going to make a delay? Each thing, each knob, each button does one thing, so when I go for it, I know. And that comes from thinking of Model 1 not only as a mixer, but as an instrument. If guitar players have their certain guitar, that they all have 5 strings. 5 strings? 6 strings?
6 strings.
But they're made from different woods. They have different types of strings. And each person finds a connection to each one. And they spend a lot of time with that instrument. And so we wanted to make this an instrument that you could spend time with, that you wanted to spend time with, and that you would slowly unlock new possibilities. Here's our EQ where we can sweep through the frequencies. So we're at the high frequencies. Then over on the other side, you have a master filter, which is a little bit more of a different beast. Here's one filter. And here's the other one. Kind of clears your ears out. And then you have an EQ on the right side, which is on the master, which is another way to cut or boost frequencies. So you imagine all these different things and possibilities going on, and if you're playing for 1 or 2 or 3 hours, you can work with the filter for this record, or this record over here, actually the EQ makes sense to use. Then later you're using the master filter in a different way. So you have lots of ways to work with the different music that you're playing, and that again makes it a journey for the performer, but it also makes it an even more interesting sonic experience or adventure for the people on the dance floor. 'Cause that's a little bit. Sorry.
It kind of makes you do this bass a lot.
What's that?
It makes you do this bass a lot.
Yeah.
The bass just sounds amazing. I mean, I think that when you're talking about sculpting sounds, it's quite difficult to tell in a good way what track is doing what, and I think that's the whole purpose, is that you're blending us together as one sound.
Yeah, that's, of course, I have a certain style of playing, so there's like two or three things going over here. You have 4 turntables over here. You have this device here, which is drums and claps. And then I can add different effects for those. And as that's going, I can also add other effects and control them from here, which is in the computer. And then, of course, with the track, you've got all your frequency controls that I was showing you earlier. And that's right now just looping, so. So a lot of time I'll have 2 or 3 tracks underneath. If I'm playing something and I really like the bass line, or it's got a vocal snip that is really catchy, then I'll take a loop of that and then leave that going as I bring in another 1 or 2 tracks. And sometimes if I've got a really great bass line going and it's just giving everything this warmth underneath, I can actually leave that going for 20 minutes. So, you know, I'm happy when people hear songs that they know, a little clip, a little melody, but I don't want people to hear the track as they would hear it at home or by another DJ. I think that's, you know, not everybody likes that, but I hope people come to see me to have, to hear things from a different perspective, from my perspective.
Absolutely, a nice one. Give it up for Richie Hawtin.
You can take